Good evening. I'd like to call the regular monthly meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, mindful of the reason for the season. We ask a special blessing upon our students, their families, and our staff as we begin the holiday break on Friday afternoon. Please keep our children and staff members safe if they travel, and help us all to remain healthy and safe throughout the holiday season. Help us to remember those less fortunate during this time, and to remember that the warmth of the season revolves around our giving of ourselves. Thank you for a year of many blessings, even though we have faced unprecedented challenges, and help us to look forward to 2021 with renewed hope, with the hope of better times to come. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Mr. Long, would you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Foche.
Ms. Acevedo? Here. Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Egan and Ms. Jackson are not with us. Ms. Lemoyne?
Here.
Mr. England?
Here.
Ms. Dysart?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Smith is not with us. Mr. Warner?
Here.
And Ms. White?
Here. Thank you, Ms. Foche. Before we go on to the first item of the agenda, I'd like to thank the Nunez Community College, Student Government Association, and Ms. Lemoyne for providing us with some masks tonight. Thank you very much. To all the board members. Okay. Next item, public hearing regarding the virtual school discipline policy to be included in the guide of student conduct. At this time, we will have a public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to speak on this issue, they may do so at this time. Ms. Benezak, has anyone signed up? Okay. Mr. Powell, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Hi.
Just want to remind the board that Act number 48, and it stated that no later than December 31st, 2020, every public school board shall comply with the provision RS 17468 and convene a meeting of its disciplinary policy review committee to update the policy and procedures related to the conduct that occurs at home or other locations that are not school property where a student is participating in virtual instruction. The committee met on Tuesday, December the 1st, 2020. They looked at the draft and questions were asked. And after the questions and answers, the committee recommended that the policy be presented to the board for adoption as well as any approval that they be made. The law stated that there were certain things that had to be included in that. The committee did that. And in your folder, you should have a copy of that policy. And we felt that we included the things necessary from Act 48, revised statute Act 48. And in that policy, it stated that certain things need to be in that. And we felt that we did that, and if you have that policy, we submit that to your approval and ask for any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Are there any questions at this time? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion on the floor to accept? Motion by Mr. England, seconded by Ms. Lemoyne. Any discussion? There being none, please. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Powell, and we thank you, the whole committee who met on this. We really do appreciate their input and all of the work that you and the committee have done on this. Thank you very much.
And if you allow me, I'd like to give a shout out to my superintendent because through her leadership, it was really well worked. So again, I want to commend my superintendent, myself, as well as the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Voce.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Okay, thanks again, Mr. Polly. Next item on the agenda is a motion to incorporate the December 8th, 2020 General Committee Report into the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular monthly meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Esaveda, seconded by Mr. Warner. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a motion to approve the following minutes. Minutes of October 27th, 2020 regular monthly meeting is published on November 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Long, seconded by Ms. White. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item, approval of the minutes of November 17th, 2020, regular monthly meeting as published on November 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Campbell, second by Mr. England. Any discussion or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a presentation of the personnel changes for December 2020. In your folder for your information, those highlighted or new ones since the committee. At this time, I would just like to recognize our retirees, Kathy Pichon. Kathy, thank you for your many years of service to our school system, and we wish you a very happy retirement. Also, we have Patrice Trosclair, Virginia Neal, and Uridale Bartholomew. And we want to thank each and every one of you for your many years of service with the St. Bernard Parish School Board and for our students, and we wish you a very happy retirement. Anyone else? Okay. There's no action to be taken on that item. Next item is a motion to adopt the virtual school discipline policy to be included in the guide to student conduct. There was no recommendation from the committee. We just reviewed it at that time. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation of the discipline policy? There's a
I'll make
motion
the
by
motion.
Ms. I'm sorry?
They
No, we
closed
did.
the public
We
hearing.
closed the public hearing. There was no vote. Okay, there was a motion by Mr. Warner. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. England. Any discussion or questions? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a motion to approve the policy revisions for School Board Policy BD. There was a recommendation by the committee.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Warner. Is there a second? Motion by seconded by Ms. White. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next is a motion to approve policy JD, discipline. Is there a motion to accept? Motion by Mr. Campbell, seconded by Ms. Lemoyne. Any discussion or questions? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is policy JDD, suspension. There was a recommendation by the committee. Motion by Ms. Lemoyne, seconded by Mr. England. Any discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Next is placement at the alternative school. Policy JDE. There was a recommendation by the committee.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Warner, second by Mr. Long. Any discussion or questions? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a motion to adopt option 1 as the 2021-2022 school calendar. There was a recommendation by the committee, and this was the calendar that was voted upon by our personnel. Motion by Mr. Campbell, seconded by Ms. White. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a motion to approve the administration's recommendation of Cox Business as the telecommunications provider for the St. Bernard Parish School District. There was a recommendation by the committee.
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. White. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Lemoyne. Any discussion or questions? Okay, there being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item is a motion to approve the lowest bidder on bid tabulation for spices and seasonings, Class 2, cereal, dry beans, crackers, Class 3, frozen foods, Class 5, meat and meat products, Class 6, poultry and eggs, Class 7, seafood products, Class 8, canned goods, Class 9, and this is for the period of January 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2021. And there's a typo on the word through. Just if we could correct that for the minutes, please. Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Campbell. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Next item are items to be placed on the agenda of the next committee meeting. Anyone? Mr. Warren.
I just want to make mention of Ms. Voce. I don't know if you noticed, but on Judge Perez heading west, before you get to Shaman High School, on the neutral ground there was a flashing light, a school zone flashing light. I don't know if something happened to it, if somebody hit it, but it's been knocked down. And if we could look at getting that replaced. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but westbound Judge Perez, before you get to Shaman High School, the neutral ground flashing light. Now the one heading eastbound is still up and operating, and the one not on the neutral ground, on the side west, I think it's still operating. But the one on the neutral ground, I think somebody hit it or something, because it's gone, as far as I know.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. I'll take care of it.
Okay, Ms. White?
Yes, I noticed at St. Bernard, Goche Elementary, the blinking light wasn't on either, and it was time for the kids to get out. All the cars were there, but the little blinking light wasn't on during the school zone also.
At Goche?
And that was today.
Okay. So the blinking light was not?
Yeah,
on?
there was no school zone, it's usually blinking at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was close to 3, it was about 3:15 or so, something like that.
Thank you, Ms. White. Mr. England?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Dyson. Ms. Illustrator, since we're talking about lights, can we get, I'm going to put my 2 cents in about Davies. If we get an update, where we stand at about getting the flashing lights, for that school itself.
Right, because I do know that's a state highway.
Yes.
And we have requested it multiple times because the school driveway does not abut the highway.
Mhm.
There's a problem with the traffic light. We're trying to see what we can do about flashing lights. We have contacted the Department of Transportation to see what we're allowed to do and what can be done. I know the parish government is involved in it too, trying to help us with it. So we're doing the best we can. We're waiting, but we'll keep the pressure on.
Well, that's the main thing.
Okay.
Keep the pressure on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. England. Anyone else? Okay, next item was superintendent's recommendations. Ms. Boche.
This is the last week of classes prior to the holidays, so Friday afternoon we'll be releasing our students for the 2-week break for the Christmas holidays. But prior to that, Thursday night, tonight, the Shaman High School band was supposed to do a little outside concert at the baseball field and they were each allowed to invite 2 parents or 2 adults to listen to them. It's been a very, very difficult year for all of our performing groups, and it was going to be a nice event, but because of the weather, with not just the cold weather, but the rain, they're trying to reschedule for Thursday night. And as I said last week, while I know that many of our Christmas festivities and events have been curtailed this year because of COVID, I know our teachers are making it very nice for our students this week and working with each other, trying to get them in the holiday spirit. And you know the little ones, they're all excited anyway for Christmas. So what we're hoping for is that everyone has a very safe 2-week period off. We ask that everyone maintains the social distancing and all the guidelines set up so that we don't spread this virus over the holidays, and that we can come back ready to go another couple of months or so until hopefully we get the vaccine distributed to most of the population, which will help us all in beating this particular pandemic. So we ask that you have a safe and healthy holiday season, but please be mindful and take precautions so that we can come back in January and get on with the work that we do each day, which is educating the children in St. Bernard Parish.
Thank you, Ms. Fauche. And on behalf of the entire St. Bernard Parish School Board, we would like to wish our students, our teachers, and all of our personnel and everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and joyous New Year. And we'll see y'all next year. So, is there a motion to adjourn at this time? There's a motion by Mr. Campbell, seconded by Ms. Acevedo. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you and good night. Merry Christmas.
Ooh.